Hello, intelligence sources of Jeffrey Sachs and of Judge Napolitano, for example, of the interbranch family members retired and standing. They're still making confessions, even with silence now to me. They're refusing to identify themselves legitimately interbranch before and after the World Trade Center attack as collusion slash S. Jeffrey Sachs, for example, he made an example of he wants to use other people's information, even in other words, regarding an Operation Timber Sycamore, where people, our intelligence with Syria and with these other countries, their roles with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, his co-defendants, their family members, and their family members' teachers, and the databases at those campuses, collusions with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, all these different countries at and next to the campuses, time collusions with them, with differences, racketeering, and with cover-ups of roles with that, uses of their roles with those acts, those methods, with the method slash S, for example, too. A human fact should be nature breaching method is one of the things that nature shows us, therefore science is one of the things that all those crazy laws against the human differences that were entrenched, northern colonies and southern colonies, and roles with that were entrenched. And then America's founders were born. Founders plural, but the only one we know the name of is James Madison. But and he didn't have free speech. They had it declassified for themselves, and therefore for us to appreciate, and for nature itself, what nature communicated and communicates with black people's whites of eyes is other than we are allowed to appreciate at campuses A through Z. One of the things that is causes nature to demonstrate is that the difference between criminal insidiousness natures of positive treatments like truths or facts and negative treatments, where and how there's a difference of that too could be and was and is exploited by the breaching method. So the counters to how the breaching method reassigned what black people's whites of eyes communicates. Otherwise, and how a whole bunch of hyper additional collusion slash us with that roles, needs, nature, styles of logic, natures of logic, sensing for the breaching method. Anyone with short words proper with convictions. So the state of Connecticut corrections office and judicial branch offices has roles of people with conjunctions to Route 3 and to Route 175 and conjunctions to that and exceptions consciously being and having been exploited. A Dr. Shub of modern languages sought me out to record, confess, demonstrate, confirm things he doesn't even know. Because of the people involved with the child abusers, leaders, the kids, years apart, involved with 2 Route Highway, and his confessions to it, and other spots and names conjunctive to him and to his family, involved also with probate courts, with others on my street, tied to the people that the police are brought up in their confessions, with the principal child abuser, with a Phil Cololo, is further on my street, involved with predicate acts with a principal child abuser, leader of kids, and with having forced that. Also, in other words, years apart, one's involved with that. But these countries are here and there shared, and they're just putting fake transcripts, including with WFSB News, the Channel 3 News, and the Fox News. I can't get them on paper, one name in sequence. They're refusing to identify themselves since I was a kid, legitimately into branch. They have time collusions with layers of other per the breaching method. Also recorded as evidence why and how they could even have the audacity, even though it's against nature itself, to pretend they don't understand what people say. The significance of it, of how we can discern. The voices are abridged. There were and are internationally monitored conversations and collusion slash S with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, terrorists, originally still there were witch trials places. There's a witch trial place associated with the founding locations. They're using that as a truth for a lie to say that the American Revolution was about English against fighting against England, for example. England didn't have possession of their own name because of those internationally monitored conversations. They didn't have free speech to their leaders at countries A through Z. How do you think that little country? Oh, because in other words, these people are wanting and needing to have nature to debate as styles, needs, and natures that need to use what is, things that aren't use what's not debatable and things that pretend to be debatable. Opposite of how nature shows. As we can discern this relative to the collusion/s, where people make opinions and deny the significance, all the revelations, all the evidence is generated by having black people's whites eyes the way we do as a species body of individual bodies. All group differences now forced to be appreciated through an system's tactical ulterior than its own. Uses why and how there are grouping symbols appreciated by identity and math. To answer that question properly, one has to understand how that and why the identity, the sciences share, as I'm appearing not to, because it is all about hyper-additional nature. Vaccines. I teach those things, but